Hi guys, it's Shelly here. Welcome to my channel and thank you for joining me today. Today's video will be a full colour along in Hanna Karlzon's newest book, Godjul, and this is my second page in this book and I'm so glad that I can bring it to you as another colour along. I put out a poll on my community tab on YouTube with two options of pages and asked you guys to pick which page you would like to see more as a colour along. And this page with, I'm assuming it's a church in the snow landscape, this particular page won the poll by far. And so I was very happy to be able to colour this page, because I did have a rough idea of colours that I wanted to use. And so, yeah, I was excited to just jump in and get started. And it's a record for me, colour along quite soon after one that I've just published. So, yeah, I was really enjoying colouring the first page and now the second page as well. As always, I will list all the supplies I'm using in the description box below, and I will be showing swatches and names of colours that I'm using on screen as well. But I have used a few mediums on this particular page. I used Distress Ink in just one colour. I think it was Weathered Wood. I use Derwent Inktense for the background, if I'm not mistaken, the background sky. And then I've used a little bit of Tombow dual brush pens and my Albrecht Dürer pencils. And it's quite simple with regards to embellishments. At the end of the page, I just use one glitter paint pen by Lightwish. It's the Flysea glitter markers. And I use a white Posca paint pen. So this particular page, unlike my first page in the book, is not heavy on glitter and shine, but I really did not think that this page needed it. I like how it looks at the end and hopefully you guys will like it too. My main challenge for this page was to figure out what I wanted to do with the large circle in the sky. Now, my first instinct was it's the moon, but I'm like, that's a very large moon. So I was a bit confused and I decided to just flow with it because that's the first thing that came to mind. Let's make it look like a moon. And so that's what I went with. And I wasn't sure I wanted to spend too much time trying to figure out how to make the circle look like a moon using pencils, because I thought that would be quite challenging. So I got a light bulb moment and I was like, oh, I can try and see if I have a colour that could work with the Distress Ink, and then just do the water splash effect to give, the speckled effect that we see on the moon. The craters, the grey areas, the white or the brighter areas on the moon. And so I decided to go with Distress Ink for the moon. So I used a little bit of Weathered Wood, which is a greyish bluish colour actually. I didn't realise that it would have a little bit of a blue colour. So at first when you apply it, it looks greyish, and it was perfect for the colour of the moon. And I didn't apply it on the entire circle. I just put it, randomly, just roughly around in certain areas, because again, when you look at the moon, we know that there are areas that are darker, there are areas that are brighter, and that's the effect I was trying to go for. So I just applied the Weathered Wood Distress Ink very randomly, and then I decided to do the water splash effect. And I just used a paintbrush dipped in water, and I just tapped the paintbrush to get the water off. Now, it was giving me small little sprinkles of water, so you will see me also dab the paintbrush to just give me a larger area of the water effect. So what it effectively does is just pick up a little bit of the colour, I think, and that gives that splash effect. So I needed certain areas to be just a bit larger rather than just perfect little sprinkles or dots of water. So yeah, I do dab it onto the paper to give that effect. And when I did this and I picked up the colour, it gave the effect, the Weathered Wood, the greyish tone was sort of, to me, when I look at it, a bit bluish, a bit very light blue, but a bit of on the blue side. So that was surprising to see because I didn't realize that would have a different color, but it works because I decided to go for a dark blue sky. So I think it worked that there was the hints of blue undertone on this distress ink, and I went with it. I used a white Posca paint pen to outline to cover up the black line of the circle, the outline of the circle, to help it look more like a moon and to make it pop. And I usually do this at the end of a page, but I wanted to see the full effect of the moon to see that I was satisfied. So I did that, and then I went ahead and started working on the background. As you guys know, I always love doing my backgrounds first. It just helps me take away quite a challenging part of a page, but also put down a lot of color and makes me feel like, oh, I've already done so much, I don't have that much left to do. So yeah, I do like to do my backgrounds first, and I worked with Derwent Inktense for the background. Now, you guys know that I like to take my time with my pages. I'm slow, and I wanted to find ways of speeding up a little bit for this page so that I could get it out for you guys as a color along, because otherwise I take my sweet time and I miss the seasons that I need to upload these color alongs for. So I decided Derwent Inktense would help with the background, because when you activate them, the color intensifies rather than dilutes like watercolor pencils. And with watercolor pencils, I would have to go over the top. So I decided that if I go for Derwent Inktense pencils and make sure I get in quite a few layers, so make my shadows really dark, and layer up from the word go before I activate the pencils, I won't need to go over the base for the sky. And so that's the reason I went for the Derwent Inktense, just so that it takes away the step of having to go over with pencils just to perfect the background. And it worked, and I'm very happy with the color that I achieved for the background. It's exactly what I'd imagined, because I always saw a dark blue sky for this page. But that's the only parts that I used different mediums with regards to pencils. So I used the distressing for the moon, the Derwent Inktense for the sky, and then the rest of the page I have worked with my Faber Castell Albrecht Dürer pencils. I've used Tombow dual brush pens, but a lot less than I used on the first color along in this book, only because I didn't find the need to use it that much on this page, but I like how they work on this paper, and so I still did use it for basing the trees and for blending out my Albrecht Dürer pencils for the framework as well. And I think that's about it with regards to the Tombow dual brush pens. For the snow, I used one of my color combinations from the combinations I've shared with you guys previously. I'll try and remember to put in the description box below. I do have a how I color snow up on the channel, and I've got a template that I used of snowmen, to show you how I different color combinations that I use for snow, and I like to just refer to that sometimes. So it's a quick pick up pencils sort of option, so that I don't have to keep thinking up color combinations for snow. So I really like that I've laid it all out on a page, and sometimes I deviate from that, but I used one of the color combinations from there, or I combined two, I can't remember, but I did use that as my inspiration for the snow. Obviously I'll be sharing with you the colors I'm using for the snow on screen and in the description box below, and I'll also share the video of the how I color snow, so that you can check out my other options for snow, so that you can use them in your winter pages. So yeah, I went ahead with that, but I did use a little bit of grey over the top of my snow, because I did not want the snow to look too bluish, because we had so much blue for the sky. So what I did was I did use a hint of purple and some blues to do my snow, and then I went over with a light cold grey, just over the top of all the blues that I'd used, to just mute them, basically, to just take that edge off the blue, and to soften the colors rather than just make it very vibrant. So yeah, I like the effect that I went for, so that it didn't look bright blue snow. For the framework, I wanted to try and avoid using gold, but once I looked at the page, I was like, there's no way I'll be able to do any other color for the frame. I think gold will be perfect, but I did not want to go for the usual kind of golds that I go for where my shadow areas are actually really, really dark. I wanted a softer gold effect for this page, and so I did not want to deepen up my shadows too much. And yeah, I like how my gold frame turned out. And just to break it up a bit, at first I thought I was going to do a few leaves green, a few leaves gold, but I don't think the layout of the line art was going to work with putting a few green leaves in. I thought it would look a bit out of place. So I just went ahead and did the whole framework gold, and I just broke up the gold with the red berries rather than making those gold as well. And that looked nice to me, and I brought in that red later on for the building, just for the doors of the church, just to tie it all in together. When it came to doing the building, I was not sure what color building to do, mainly for the roof. I knew I was going to keep the building quite subtle because I tend to go quite bright for my buildings. For some reason, I always go wrong, but I decided just make sure you keep it in the grays and just keep it simple. And that's what I did for the walls of the church. But the roofs, I did not know what color I wanted to go for. I did not want to put red because I didn't want to take away from the berries. I just wanted those hints of red on the page. I didn't want too much red. And I thought blue wouldn't work because of the blue sky, and obviously the snow has hints of blue, so I didn't want to go for blue. So I decided to just go for a snow roof. So I tried to cover up the lines that Hanna Karlzon has put on the roofs with a Simp Tap acrylic marker, thinking that because it's a brush tip, it will flatten out the white acrylic ink paint, and so I'll be able to color over it. It was a bit hard to color over. It wasn't perfect, but I think I got the effect I wanted. So I covered up the black lines of the roof on the roof, and then I just used the same colors that I used for the snow on the roofs to make it look like it was covered in snow. So that took away the element of thinking about what other color to use for the roof, and I'm glad I went for the snow effect. I think it looks really nice, and yeah, I'm happy with that choice. As you will notice, as the color along goes along, I will have left the star at the top of the page uncolored, and I usually do this for certain elements on a page if I think I might bring in glitter or shine to the page at the end, and that's what I did. I decided to use a glitter paint pen to do the star and the little rays that come off the star, just to give a little bit of sparkle on the page. But that's all that I've done, and that's the only sparkle I've done on the page. But I think it's perfectly fine because there's not much else, not many other places on this page that I could have put sparkle. Maybe the berries on the frame, but I like the way the red looks. So yeah, I'm happy that there was no need to put any sparkle and shine. And then finally, as always, I like to come in with my paint pens at the end of a page. And for this page, I thought just a white paint pen will be perfectly fine. I do not need to use any other colors. And so I brought in a white Posca paint pen, and I put in some areas of highlight, covered up some black lines. And I wanted to bring back the circles that Hanna Karlzon had put in the sky, which I covered up with Derwent Inktense. So I brought in I brought in all those circles with the paint pen to give the effect of snow, but I did dab on the circles that I'd applied, just to smudge it a little bit to make it look a bit blurry and more like snow rather than just perfect circles. And then I added in a few more smaller dots of paint pen, again to help with the effect of snow, so different sizes of snowflakes. And I also added white on the trees for settled snow. And I was going to do a bit of sprinkling of Winsor & Newton white ink, which I love doing on my snow pages to help with the falling snow effect. but I did not want it to go all over the framework because that wouldn't work, because the framework is sort of the illustration, the landscape is within the frame, and it wouldn't look right to me if the sprinkling of the ink went on the framework. So I decided against that. I thought there was enough white paint pen work on here to make it look like a snow scene, to make it look like falling snow, and I left it at that. Once again, I loved colouring a page in this book. Okay, it's only my second page, but I really, really enjoyed it, and I'm looking forward to doing more. So, I don't know what page I'm going to do next, but I've already done two very different pages, but both of them have been within frames. So maybe something a little bit different, maybe a more full-on scene or something. I do really like the Christmas market scene, the double page spread, so maybe if I can tackle that, that would be amazing. I really like the reindeer scene with the presents and the carriage, so I really like that one. It's a double page spread, so I don't know what page I'm going to do next, or if I go for something simpler. But I'm looking forward to hopefully doing at least one more page in this book this Christmas season. And I hope you guys enjoyed watching this colour along, because I really loved colouring this page, and I'm so happy that again I managed to record it as a colour along, because it's not that frequently that I can record all my pages, so it was nice to be able to record it for you guys. So hopefully you guys enjoy watching, even if you don't follow along. I know a lot of people have struggled getting this book, and I think it's out of print, and it's probably going to be I think, if I'm not mistaken, I saw Hanna Karlzon mention on Instagram that it'll be out in August 2025, so that's a long way away. But hopefully a lot of you did manage to get this book. I wouldn't have, because usually I always wait for the English editions, but for some reason this time round I said no, I'm going to get this Swedish edition. It's my first ever Swedish edition, but I'm going to get a hold of it so I can try and do it for this Christmas. And I'm so glad I made that decision, because first of all, the paper in this book is absolutely beautiful to work on with the mediums that I like to use. So it was nice trying it out, and hopefully a lot of you got this book this year. But even if you don't follow along with this colour along, I do hope you enjoy watching it. If you do follow along, make sure you share it with me. I love seeing your coloured versions. It makes me so happy to see them. And I hope you guys have a wonderful holiday season. Merry Christmas to all of you. Those of you who don't celebrate, I hope you just enjoy having some time off, some family time. I think that's what December is for, whether you celebrate Christmas or not. So hopefully you have some lovely time with friends and family. And I wish you, in case I don't have another video out very soon, I wish you guys a wonderful new year, and I hope this new year brings lots of happiness, lots of joy, lots of laughter in your lives, lots of success, a lot of peace and good health. And I'm sure I'll be back with you guys soon with another video. But yes, have a lovely holiday season, a good start to the new year, and I'll be back with you again. So until then, take care. Thank you for watching. Thank you always for all the support you guys give me. I really appreciate it. I'll see you in the next one, guys. Bye-bye.